Welcome back to another wonderful episode of Fit Is Me. My name is Kaneshka, and thank you very much for tuning in to day 22 of the Fit Is Me Summer Takeover. Now, today is Tasty Tuesdays. That means we are back in the wonderful kitchen of the Fit Is Me household, and I want to show you guys a little something of how to prepare breakfast. Now, this is how I would prepare breakfast, and today I'll show you guys how to make an omelet. Now, it's not just a regular omelet. This omelet is very special to me simply because it's my own creation, and hopefully you guys can learn how to make it and call it your own. So without further ado, guys, let's go ahead and get started. I'm in the kitchen now. We're gonna pull out our ingredients. We're going to put things together, cook it up, and do a taste test at the end so you guys have a little something to look forward to. So come on in. So, firstly, what is an omelet? An omelet is basically, it's a pancake that's made with eggs. Although pancakes do have eggs in them, omelets are more of a fluffy pancake made with eggs and a whole bunch of other things in them. And it's just a great way to kick off your morning because eggs are a great source of protein. So we're going to start off with 3 eggs. We're going to use a medium onion. We're going to use some garlic, and we're going to use some sesame seed oil. Oh, and you got to make sure that you have a nice non-stick skillet, aka a nice looking pan. So those will be our basic ingredients for now. We'll then introduce some other ingredients along the side to throw in for that magic Fit Is Me touch. So guys, here we have our ingredients. Now, unfortunately, I couldn't find one of my ingredients in the fridge, so we're gonna cut it out. So, we'll work with what we have here. Now, as I said, we have 3 eggs. We're gonna use these eggs, we're gonna crack them open, put them in a bowl, and we're gonna flick the wrist. Now we have a red bell pepper, very small. We're gonna use probably maybe a 1/4 of it, not too much, but you could use more if you want to. We have half a medium onion. Not too much onions in there. You don't want to overpower the flavor of the omelet. So half an onion is good. And here in this jar we have jalapeno peppers. So jalapenos will add that spice. And on top of that we have some cheese. Now this cheese will play a very key role at the end to keep the omelet together from when we flip it on one side to the next side. So we're going to shred this cheese up, and then we're going to put it on top of the omelet, and as we fold it and flip it onto the other side, it'll keep it together. So we'll keep this for later. But that's about it. Those are your ingredients. If you want to throw in some salt and pepper, maybe a little bit of paprika here and there to make it even more spicy, by all means, that's you. But if you don't feel like doing it, let's just stick to the regular plan. So let's get started. So at this point, guys, you guys want to take your non-stick skillet, aka your pan, and put it on the stove. You want to preheat your stove to around medium high. So if your stove goes from min to max and it's numbered from 2 to 8 like mine, then you want to put it between 7.5, 8. So we got our onions. Let's throw some oil in the pan, and then we'll throw the onions in the pan when the oil has heated. Make sure there's enough oil in your pan. Not too much, not too little. We're not trying to go for the fattier side of things, but at the same time, sesame seed oil is a great alternative to canola oil and vegetable oil. So we got our onions cut. Now let's cut our garlic. I have a small piece of garlic right here, so not too big, not too small. This one's good. Remember to also take off the shelling of the garlic because we don't want any of that. So we're gonna peel it off. And that's it. That's what we want. We're gonna cut that up and throw it in with the onions. So at this time the oil should be heated, and it should be the right temperature for us to throw in our onions. So let's go ahead and do that and let it sit there for a couple minutes and let it brown up. Get that white onion color to turn a little brown, because that's what we want. We don't want it to be tasting onions throughout our omelet. So let's go throw that in the pan right now. So we're going to let that sit for around 2 minutes. We don't want it to overcook. when it overcooks, you know it's going to be burnt. So we don't want it to burn. We want it to really just, you know, sit there and brown up. You'll notice when it browns up. So now as we wait for the onions and the garlic to caramelize, we're going to cut up our red bell pepper, and we're going to take out some jalapeno peppers. We're going to prepare the eggs, and at the same time we're going to shred up the cheese. And again, we don't need too much bell pepper, so we're just going to use maybe a fourth. Now if you guys want, you could just keep it julienne like this, or you guys can cut it up into small pieces and throw it in once the onions have caramelized. Because when you throw these in, the minute you throw these in with the onions that haven't been caramelized, then you're going to overwater it, and the onions won't caramelize, thus giving you a more oniony taste. And we don't want the oniony taste, right? So we're going to wait off until the onions caramelize. And always make sure to go ahead and stir your pan once in a while, because you don't want your onions to just sit there for too long, because then some of them will get dark and some of them will stay light. Let's go ahead and crack our eggs. Alright, so let's take a fork, and now let's beat the eggs.
Look at the flick of their wrist. 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 Look at the.
So this is what we want. This is the consistency that we want. And once we'll finish beating this in another 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. We'll let that rest on the side. So now you guys can throw in your black pepper, your salt, any kind of, you know, peppers you want to throw in there. You can, because we'll take that mixture and throw it in with the onions. So let me bring you guys over and show you guys these onions. As you guys can tell, it's more brown, and that's what we want. So with this consistency, this is good. We're going to wait until these ones just brown up a bit more, and then we're going to throw it in. So as you guys can tell, some of it's already getting a little too brown, so we want to continuously mix this up so that all of it gets brown and not just some of it. So guys, now what we're going to do is we're going to take our bell peppers and we're going to throw it in there. We're going to let the peppers just sweat off a bit, get a little bit more soft, because right now it's at a hard consistency. So once we do that, then we're going to throw in the eggs on top and let that rest. So here I like to throw in a little paprika into my eggs just to make it a little bit more spicy. So guys, now we're going to go ahead and cut up some cheese, and then we're going to use a shredder to shred the cheese and keep it aside for when the omelets are ready. We're going to put the cheese on top, we're going to put some jalapeno peppers in there, and we're going to let that rest and melt away. For when it melts, it will look delicious, it will look yummy, and it will look good for you, because protein is good for you and breakfast is even better. And that's it. That's a good amount of cheese. That's not too much. That's around 30 grams of cheese. So we're going to keep that off to the side. Thank you very much, Mr. Shredder, for your work. And now let's head over to the stove to check out how our bell peppers, onions, and garlic are doing on the stove. Voila. Okay. So as you guys can see, the bell peppers have gotten less red than they were initially. So that means that they're good. They're getting a little bit more softer, which is good stuff. And we've mixed it with the onions and the garlic, and nothing is really burnt in here, so that's a good sign. So we're going to take this opportunity to take our beaten eggs and dump it inside. Ready? And that's about it. So now we're just going to make sure it's nice and round so that we don't have any trouble. And we're just going to let that sit for around 2 to 3 minutes. You guys will start to see as it starts becoming more fluffy. We're going to then check the bottom so that it's not burnt. And then when it's ready, we're going to flip it over, apply our cheese, apply our jalapeno peppers, and then flip the one side over. And you guys will see. So we're just going to let that wait for now. So do you guys think it's ready now? I guess not. Well, since our omelet decides to split, let's just flip it all over. Now that we've flipped the omelet over, we got some burning action going, but you know what? That's fine. All mistakes happen when cooking. So, since we have a good looking omelet right now, the back is cooking, let's go ahead and throw in the cheese. now that we have our jalapeno peppers, we have our cheese, let's go ahead and flip that side over. So at this point, it kind of looks like a little mess, but you know what? This is what we want. So we're just gonna let this sit. We're gonna let the cheese melt inside, and then we're gonna flip it, let this side cook, and then we'll call it complete. Alright, so let's go ahead and turn off the stove. Great. And let's take this over there. So guys, now we have our completed omelet. We're going to plate it here on our plate. And we have a little bit of hot sauce. Now if you guys don't know about this hot sauce, it is a Mexican hot sauce by the name of Valentina's. This is the extra spicy version. There's the regularly spicy version, which really isn't that spicy. It's just more of a tangy Mexican salsa style flavor. So this goes good with any kind of breakfast, lunch, dinner, snack, and whatever you choose to put it on top of, your choice. But I'd rather have this with my omelet since it gives it that extra bit of flavor and it goes well with it. So let us take our omelet and put, oh yeah, look at that cheese. Alright, so let's take the onions and the garlic as well. Good stuff. Let's put that there. Let's give our hot sauce a little shake, shake, shake. And top it off. Alright guys, that's about it. There's your omelet. There's your breakfast. I know it doesn't look pretty, but you know what? I guarantee if you guys give it a try, you guys will love it. So guys, thank you very much for tuning in to another wonderful Tasty Tuesdays here on Fit Is Me. Thank you very much for tuning in to day 23 of the Fit Is Me Summer Takeover. I think it's 23. It should be 23 or 22. Whichever it is, thank you very much for tuning into this week's video. Make sure to tune in tomorrow for another Workout Wednesdays and another wonderful episode of Fit Is Me. Make sure to like the video, make sure to subscribe to the channel, and share the video with your friends. And most importantly, make sure you go enjoy your breakfast, because here on Fit Is Me, what we make is for our own benefit. Thank you very much for watching, guys. Until next time,